Good evening, my friends, and Chag Sameach. Tonight, we are, in the absence of a better word, celebrating the death anniversary of that most famous Kabbalist, the author of the Zohar, who lived approximately 2,000 years ago, and whose death took place on the 33rd day of the Omer in the Upper Galilee in the city of Meron. So that we can have a better opportunity to take advantage of why almost 150,000 people come year in and year out for close to 2,000 years to celebrate his death anniversary. The pilgrimages from all over the world that are undertaken so as to be at the gravesite of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai on this particular date. To provide the Kabbalistic understanding, which unfortunately is not necessarily that which has been understood for over the past 2 millennia. And that is that there are 2 factors here to be considered. Number one, are we coming to connect with Rabbi Shimon at his gravesite because that's where he is? And therefore we want to make this direct connection to this physical aspect of Rabbi Shimon? Is again not including the entire ramification, the entire encapsulation of the event of the death anniversary of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Just as we have explained concerning the holy city of Jerusalem, that while that is the point where the temple was built, but the significance is not that point just because that's where the temple was built, but rather this was a focal point, a central point, known as the energy center of the entire world. And so that physical aspect represents for us, symbolizes the physical location of the city of Jerusalem, or the Temple Mount, rather acts as an instrument on this physical level, so that this physical reality somehow taps into this immaterial realm known as the light force of God. This should not be taken lightly, because how do you glue, how do you bond the physical with the immaterial? We take it for granted when we all pray, whatever religious denomination we may be part of, we talk about God. But we forget for a moment God is immaterial. Or, as in Kabbalah, we refer to not as God, but rather the light force of God, because we have no idea what God is, but we can understand the light force of God, just as we understand the physical light that exists in this world, whether it be through electricity or it be through candles. So we have a concept. So to access into this kind of light force, it requires a link, a physical link. As I've said on many occasions, 72 names, and many of the other tools presented by Kabbalah. And here too, this amazing, incredible miracles, one might refer to, as this piece of land, this area of the entire planet, of the entire universe, can act as a link between the physical and the immaterial, between the light force of God and we human beings. So too, the area of where Rabbi Shimon is, his gravesite. Is it Rabbi Shimon that we make this connection? We can make that connection however we can make that connection. Why must it have to be at his gravesite? And I know personally I'm connected with Rabbi Shimon every single day of the year. And what is so special on this day? What is so special about the place that he was buried? What is the significance? Oh, yes, I know there are many over the past 2 millennia that say, well, look, this is where a righteous individual is buried. I just feel I've got to go there. But as we know, knowledge is the connection, and therefore it behooves us all to understand the full ramifications of what it means on this particular day, the death anniversary of Rabbi Shimon. And briefly stated, the Zohar says, this day is significant because Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai chose to leave this physical domain, meaning he's not dead, as it's clearly stated in Zohar. Righteous people do not die. They're very much alive. The fact is that we cannot observe them, but that doesn't mean that they died. It's our inability at this point with our levels of consciousness to perceive the individual as being there. Some of us may have had the experience of apparitions and where we just knew this human being that I loved so much, or that I knew, it was sitting right next to me. But Rabbi Shimon chose this day because the 33rd day, as explained by Rabbi Isaac Luria in his Gates of Meditation, the very long discourse on the importance as to why this 33rd day of the Omer. I know I'm saying many things that some of you are totally unfamiliar with. Please don't become depressed. Don't become frustrated. Take what you need from it. But if there are those who might be familiar, I'd like to share just a little more information with them as well. And it's Hod Shebahod, and that's as far as I want to say about it. But I know it will mean something for those who have been involved in the study of Kabbalah for many years. He chose this day. That's the righteousness of a Kabbalist. He can choose the day he wishes to leave, and he leaves. He leaves on this particular day that he chooses. Why did he choose this day? Because it's a powerful infusion, potential infusion of the light force of God into this universe. Everything, again, is about how we can take advantage, how we can tap in, how we can access into creating more life and bringing more life into our lives, because that is the ultimate. That is the only way by which we can remove the chaos, the darkness around us. And so we have this opportunity on this day, because he chose this day. Now, as it is with every righteous person, the day that he chooses is the day, it's like, as my teacher explained it to me, and I think it will serve its purpose, is like a candle. Just before, a lit candle, just before the wax or the wick is about to be over with, like a split hair second, suddenly there is a tremendous glimmer of light. Same with a bulb. A phenomena that, trust me, is totally inexplicable. But that bulb, just before it's going to blow, boom, you see an extraordinary amount of light that is revealed by this bulb, more so than throughout the life of the bulb. Strange phenomena, but noteworthy, so that we can understand that at that moment, when the righteous person chooses to leave this world, and he chooses because he knows at that moment he represents a vessel that can take in the enormity, the full dimension of the light that's available, as the bulb takes in all of the electrical current at that moment. Yet it cannot sustain it. So I don't want you completely to relate to the bulb, but just to get an idea what happens before something disappears, before the light disappears of the bulb, before the light of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai disappeared before our very eyes. At that moment, the entire dimension of the light force of God is revealed. And so therefore this 33rd day, the day that he chose, of the Omer, the day that he chose to leave, he wanted to envelop the full dimension of the light that's available today. And why here? He didn't choose it there. In fact, it's so clear in the Zohar that when they put Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai on the bed went to the place. Why? Because this is the place. Not that Rabbi Shimon or the people think they chose. No. He died there, buried there. Why? So we can have a clue, like with the Holy Temple. The temple was built there so we can have a clue that this particular area can act as a physical link in tapping into, on whatever occasion, the light force of God. In this particular case, the light force that Rabbi Shimon, who revealed everything there is to know about the universe. It was Rabbi Shimon who expanded on the book of Abraham, the Sefer Yetzirah, revered by all religions of the world as the most important document. Most important document that was revealed by the Zohar. On how, ultimately, to achieve the purpose of why we are all here, and that is to draw the light force of God into our lives, into our environment, into this entire universe, so that we can ultimately remove the pain and suffering of chaos, darkness from our lives. Chag Sameach to all.